Hi, today is Monday evening, December 17th, after the bell. We're taking a look at the S&P 500 for a very quick overview of what's going to happen tomorrow if we are going to see some further downside. First, we're going to look at the 5-minute chart here. Here was our attempt to fill this gap in to Friday's close today. We managed to fill that pretty quickly. It was done and taken care of by noon, right as we got into that Gunlock interview. But then we started to see some weakness, and shortly after that interview started, we saw the 20 EMA line on our 5-minute chart break, and we just sort of liquidated down for the rest of the day. We got a little bit of a bounce at the end of the day to close at 25.45.94. But in the process here, we've set a brand new low for 2018 and a brand new closing low as well. So 25.30 and 25.45, those are your new 2018 low and your new 2018 closing low. The halfway back on the day, if we were to come in tomorrow and hold this low and try to make an attempt to rally, the halfway back on the day is 25.85.84. So we would have to see that taken out and have a flat built at it. When I'm talking about a flat, I'm talking about these things here. You see these groups of 5-minute candles that sit in a row, and you have to look at them closely to see if they're making their closes above or below the point that you want to take out. If they're making a considered effort to close below the level, then it's a pretty good clue that you're going to roll over. If it starts making a 5-minute close above that level, then you might have a good shot at a rally kind of taking off from there. Well, on last week, we had this sort of buyers go on strike and not close any 5-minute candles above key places. On Wednesday, we saw this happen, or actually on Thursday, we saw this happen where refused to close a 5-minute candle at the high of the day above the halfway back point of the previous day's range. Then on Friday, we saw this happen where we got a single close above, on Friday, a single close above this 26.32 closing low that we had been focused on. That was the closing low that had been sticking in place since Black Friday. The closing low just of the quarter and the month, and since we printed the all-time high. So we couldn't get a 5-minute candle to close above there at the beginning of the day at the high, and we rolled down off of there. And then it happened again today at the high as well. So 3 sessions in a row, the high of the day refused to close a 5-minute candle or a series of at least 2 or 3 in a row, which makes for a 15-minute candle. Would refuse to do that at the previous day's high or the previous day's halfway back at some significant point. So tomorrow, that significant point is either probably going to be this halfway back point, or it might be this 25.81 and 83 combination level here. This was the previous closing low and last week's low, 25.81 and 25.83, or we might make it all the way back up here to the high that we tried to put in today at 26.01 and not be able to close any 5-minute candles above there and then roll over, okay? If we can make it through this point, then obviously we've got this big gap to fill up here at 26.50 by way of passing through 26.32 first. That's our old closing low, and that was where Friday's high sort of checked out on us and just wouldn't budge, wouldn't move any higher. Okay, so that's what would happen on the upside. That's really cut and dry and simple. Make the 5-minute closes over the key levels and then go after 26.32 and fill the gap at 26.51. But if we are to head lower now, we've got a whole new open territory that we're going to be trading into since we set a new 2018 low today. Now we've had this measured move target on the chart since late October. A double down of the move from the all-time high to 27.10.51 would get us to 26.80. A move below that would get us to fill this gap here at 24.61.43. There's a couple of little gaps in the way that I really haven't talked about because they're so small and inconsequential. But today's low came down to 26.30. There's a little tiny gap left from October at 25.29 and another one below that at 25.19. So if that's enough to satisfy the beast, maybe we're just going to make a small bit of a lower low. You could sort of see maybe a kind of day like that would set up turning into a possible outside bullish reversal day. If we only went down and made a little bit lower low and came back up and then took out today's high, that would be very bullish. However, if we get down here and we just start blowing through 25.29 and 25.19, just get yourself ready for the 2400 handle. We did build a flat in September from 25.08 to 24.96, so I have that sort of marked off here. And I added in just to sort of back up a possible measured move point that might be in process, taking this whole range that we've made since December 7th up at a fail to get back above 27.10 here. This fail on a Friday at 27.08. If we take that to today's low and double it down, that would take us down here to 23.50 or so, right in line with this gap at 23.48.69. Okay, so two small little gaps that might fill and end up causing a bullish outside reversal day with only a small lower low over underneath yesterday. Or we break on further. Maybe we get caught in this flat here at 25.08 to 24.96. But otherwise, we go on for our full measured move target that we've had on the radar since October at 24.80. We go on then to fill this gap at 24.61. At 24.61, we'll be 16.3% off of the all-time high. And if that breaks, there is not another gap to fill until all the way down at 24.17. Okay, 24.17, 24.09, and then we just get right into those 2300 handles with a double down another measured move of this little range that we made in this cluster of candles over the course of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions. A little double down of that range would take us down here to 23.50 or so, and there is a gap there at 23.48. And then there's more gaps below this. And as I talked to you about on the weekend video, there are plenty more gaps even below that as well. But let's just talk about what's going to happen tomorrow, Tuesday, and maybe we find a base to trade at on Tuesday, and then we look to Wednesday and see what happens after the Fed releases its statement and Powell does his press conference. Okay, that's it. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.